I was about to say something, and then my light just decided to die on me. Stupid ring light, how dare you? Hi, Internet. I have to remember I am not on my platform, so I cannot say the things I normally say. I have to stop doing that. But hi, Internet, and welcome to another Halfling Wizard Productions live stream game thingamabob here on Twitch and wherever else we're going to on the Internet. And welcome back to another exciting episode of QUEERZ, a very fun, spunky, lighthearted, not about to wreck people emotionally game here on the internet. Just kidding. We're still in the beginning chapter, so we just lots of room for improvement. I am your game master, your queers master, if you will, Mikey. And of course, tonight I am joined by my lovable cast as well. So, really quickly, we're going to do introductions and then just go straight into the things. First and foremost, learning about how the holidays went for him, I am so happy that he is here. But we have Chris is in the house. Chris, I am happy to have you to play our lovable pirate now that we had full magical girl transformation last session.
Yes, yes. Hello, everybody. I'm Riku, and I am playing Kyler, your freedom-loving pirate tonight. Yeah, the holidays were, for lack of a better word, eventful for me. Um, I first time I really had any true issues with flight, so I sympathize a lot more now with folks that have had issues. So yeah, it was tough, but I am here now, and I'm ready to see what shenanigans you have in store for us.
I love it. It's going to be a good one. And then, of course, also joining us this evening, he is also my friend from other platforms as well. But tonight he is here and joining us. Andrew is back for another exciting episode of this game. Hi, Andrew.
What up, y'all? Yeah, I'm excited. It feels like it's been so long since we've been here, but we left on such a cliffhanger. I'm excited to get back to the action.
Oh, absolutely. This is going to be fun. And then, of course, you know, just putting him on the spot because he's a slacker. Just kidding. But of course, we also have the lovable Connor joining us. Thank you for being here tonight.
Hi, sorry. Camera issues. But
No,
here
you're
I
not.
am.
I'm just kidding. Trust
I'm
me.
I'm kind of sorry.
Don't apologize. Just kidding.
Okay, Mikey, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not sorry. I don't know what to say.
It's all good. Trust me, we had our own fun experiencing technology before we started too. I'm like, ah. So, but we're all good. So I'm happy to have you here, Connor. I'm super excited. And last but certainly not least, we have a full squad for the game. Finally, I'm so excited. All four of my players are here. So I mean this in the most lovingly way possible. But of course, last but certainly not least, our fourth and final player for this campaign is Mr. JT himself. So I have to do the thing that I had all my other players do before we got started with the actual game. So, Mr. JT, why don't you tell us where the people can follow you and your history with tabletop role playing games and stuff like that, if you will. Introduce yourself to the masses.
Sure. So I have been doing tabletop role playing for, I want to say, almost 20 years. It's been smattering everywhere from Dungeons and Dragons, Vampire the Masquerade, GURPS, Bessem, Shadowrun, like all the fun stuff. Uh, Now I'm trying a new platform, which is streaming for TTRPGs. So I'm kind of getting my feet wet, and Mikey's been more than happy to help me on this journey here. I actually know Mikey, and this is where you normally can find me is through TikTok. And I also have Instagram, and because I'm old, I've got Facebook. But all of them can be found under ZenRaven13. That'd be the easiest way to find me, at least. And then every couple of weeks or so, I'll be on here.
I love it. I'm so happy that you are here, my friend, because now you get to experience the chaos that is me running games for my friends.
It, it has been a long time coming.
Oh, I'm so excited. But before we get into our session proper, just some really quick notes for anybody who's watching at home. This is considered an 18 plus stream, as this game, as we go through it, will be dealing with a variety of issues, and plus, it's literally a game called QUEERZ, you guys. Let your imagination run wild with whatever can and possibly will be coming up in terms of the jokes and the things that are made. Looking at you, Chris. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Why me? Why always me?
Because you're my friend,
Wait,
and
no,
I
don't
can
answer
just.
that.
I was like, oh, do we have time? Just kidding. But it is. We're gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna say some really crass things sometimes while also being respectful. But this game also will be dealing with some issues that may or may not be necessarily fun to talk about or be portrayed. That is why before anything happens, I will always give a spoiler / a trigger warning. Do not worry, it won't be as crazy tonight, but as the story goes on, I'm just letting you know right now. But we are here to have a good time. And of course, last but certainly not least, make sure to be respectful to each other in the chat, because moderators will be moderating and block bamboozled. Good day, you lose, sir, if you will. So just be respectful. We're here to have fun. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get into a recap. So, last time on QUEERZ, where we left off, we found our intrepid heroes, if you want to call them that, still working and shopping the name of what we're going to call this little group. But we see our players and our heroes. They found themselves in an alternate universe esque inner space, whatever you want to call it. They're no longer in reality. So they found themselves in a very, very, very haunting place. There were mirrors, there were puppets, and we found ourselves in an attic. We found a teenage boy trapped in a mirror somewhere. We had a little alien pop up, which is where we're going to begin the recap properly. So, our heroes, after investigating the attic and also being scared by tiny little spiders and falling all over the place, not sure how the bad guys didn't find them before then, they were met after investigating the mirror and seeing a floating teenager, what looks to be a still image of something, kind of like a snow globe esque kind of situation, where you have the person in front and behind them is the imagery and the scenery that most snow globes are known for. And they also ran into our lovely little alien friend known as RTO. So, of course, with RTO manages to say, "Hey, so we just need to make sure that you guys don't get found out by the Squeak Squad, as they were called. We still have yet to meet them, but don't worry, we may or may not see them very shortly." And so, making sure that our heroes are not being ambushed and attacked, RTO opened a doorway in the middle of this inner space, if you will, to what is called the inner sanctum, which is where our heroes found respite and safety and relaxation with all of this good stuff. And of course, where we finally, as RTO was cryptically hinting at and talking about her, but the players also had a conversation and finally met who we preferably known as Mother. So Mother had a sit down with our players to talk through them about what the space is, why they are here, gave a little bit of information as to why they were trapped in a hall of mirrors and then found themselves in an attic, explaining to them that they find themselves in the inner space of the magician who they saw at the circus and who is also trapping individuals in these mirrors. And the only way to truly get out of this is to make a difference and to try to help the individual whose inner space that they find themselves in to kind of begin the change of a view, change of thought, a change within themselves to be able to kind of find their way back to the light, if you will. And also, after accepting this mission to kind of help this magician out that they currently find themselves in with the inner space, we had a full 90s magical girl transformation scene where our players got to be into their, Super Sentai forms for this game, which was super excited. And then RTO opened the door back into the inner space of the magician, so therefore they can continue on their mission and they have a way to protect themselves. But before we get into that, we're going to rewind a little bit because Kyler, you were a part of this whole conversation with Mother, though you weren't physically there for the last session. Just kidding. So I want to give you an opportunity and I want you to describe your magical girl transformation.
Oh boy. Uh so yeah, during the transformation you see as how do I describe it? You see as this whirlwind of magic um envelops Kyler um as his blue jeans turn more of a purplish color. Um his shirt uh grows longer into more long sleeve, but a little bit more fluffled and baggy than what was before. Um, you see as a scimitar appears in one hand and a pistol in the other. As the magic swirls up to his head, um, creating a what appears to be a tricorn hat on his head, really enveloping that spirit of the pirate, as his outfit is now a mix of that purple and oranges of bright colors to showcase himself. Um yeah, and just like any good fighter, for him decided to show a little bit off of himself with more of a V-neck and showing a little belly with a bit of a crop top look too. So, uh, yeah, he is like it definitely is a lot more colorful than his normal outfit. But definitely showcasing that purple and orange that tends to be his favorite color combination.
I wonder what. Just kidding. uh, Skylar, you have magically transformed into this. And again, Mother is just smiling at you. You also have you have Atticus and you have Warren also looking at you after they had their whole magical girl transformation, if you will. And Mother just looks at you, Kyler, and just says, "Splendid. I'm quite impressed this is the form that your empathy powers have manifested themselves in this way." And she's just smiling. She finds it very amusing that this is the form that your empathy takes in the form of a seafaring pirate.
It's interesting to Kyler too because it also explains a lot for him when it comes to um like recent events as we saw at the carnival with his almost sharpshooter type skills. And he's like looking at it, goes, this is this is both odd yet feels right, as he like twirls the gun around a little bit on his finger.
Oh no, I have a gunslinger. Just kidding. Oh my goodness. Again, Mother is she just chuckles a little bit, looks at the three of you, gives you the speech again that now that you have the power to change the hearts of individuals and to protect yourself against whatever ignorance is about to come your way, not the adjective word of the ignorance, but the inverse canon way that we describe enemies and the evil power of ignorance. So think of ignorance as like the putties from Power Rangers, if you will. So these are just like whatever forms of enemies are about to come your way. So once again, she sends everybody through the door. RTO sends everybody through the door. And we have now back to where we previously were. Back in the attic. So again, very spacious. We very spacious, full of boxes and dust and cobwebs. As the three of you enter the door, once again you see the little spider that scared you guys earlier, just chilling on the box, just waves hello as it just watches you come through this dimension, otherworldly door that it doesn't not seem physically possible in the blueprints of this whatever space is. But here we are. So, so Warren, Kyler, and Atticus, the three of you are now back into the attic, where again you find the mirror kind of just chilling there with the cat with the in cryostasis sleep with this young teenage boy and what looks to be the scenery in the background of a what looks to be an old-fashioned circus. So, gentlemen, what would you like to do?
Freak out a little bit. This is. Are we? Do we still have our like ranger persona on? Right.
Yes, you are still in your
Okay.
magical girl transformations.
Got it. Then Warren steps through the doorway and gives the spider a wide berth and can't stop looking at his hand wraps and how the rainbowy oil slicky ink seems to kind of shift when he pokes it and touches it. And he ruffles the hood, so the hood and like the upper jacket is all black, like ink black with white and off-white paper colored accents everywhere. And as he's shuffling and like going through the new outfit, he finds in like the wrap of the hood, or I guess like a inner pocket, and pulls out a rainbow colored click pen, and because um I don't know what this is, but it it matches everything else. How are you guys doing? Just fidgets and clicks with this pen.
I gotta ask, is it one of those like click the different thing for each different color, like the
Yeah,
old school?
it's
Nice.
exactly that. It's like the little slidey ones, all the tiny little ones, all the way around. It's just a fidget toy at this point. Just click, 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 and then try and get all of them down at the same time, and it just won't go. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm just imagining it. I love it so much. Alrighty. Yeah. Yeah.
Kyler is kind of looking at himself, and is like, how do I feel? And he like just kind of looks at his outfit, looks down, and goes, uh, exposed. As he like specifically starts like rubbing his belly and was like, I
You
don't
have a
think this
belly
is a
button
style I
piercing out of
normally
nowhere.
choose, but
I'm just kidding.
right, yes, you know what? Done.
Oh god, what have I done?
That's happening now.
You look around, part of your transformation is you have a belly button piercing now. I love it. Alrighty, so you guys have you're still in your magical transformations, mirrors in front of you. what would you like to do now? After freaking out and clicking a pen and realizing that you have a belly button piercing for now.
Until it gets pulled out. I think Atticus kind of feels more comfortable. Not like he feels comfortable in this armor. Like it feels surprisingly form-fitting, but not like constricting. And I feel like he does that, when you wear like a nice suit or nice clothes or something, it like makes you stand up taller and, like feel a little more confident. But he also is now, I feel like, thinking about the things that were supposed to be coming after them, and he's a little on guard as to the entrances of this room, kind of preparing himself for what might be coming through. So he's kind of not paying as much of attention to everybody else, and the mirror. He's a little kind of lost in thought about what's coming after them.
It's funny you should mention that. Just kidding. No, so as well, Atticus, as you are kind of on edge a little bit, and you are with, you know, Kyler and Warren, outside of the spider, which is still there, he's still chilling. They still chilling. They're just watching you guys do what you do. You do see that you hear some rustling of the boxes a little bit, and kind of just like them going back and forth a little bit. It's just like as like something is like moving through them. The plot thickens. Choices
Um,
be made.
Can we tell where it's coming from?
Oh yeah. So again, despite it being an attic, again, the dimensions of this is pretty roomy. There's a lot of boxes. I won't make you roll for it because out of the corner of your eye, you see probably towards the northern right portion of this. If you were to divide the room into 4 quadrants, so the upper right quadrant of the room that you're looking at, I know I have to do that all the time. Be like, take a picture. You see some boxes kind of ruffle because there's stacks and stacks of boxes, and you also see a little bit of the dust kind of fall off the boxes that are being moved a little bit. And it's not necessarily nobody's coming through the door because there's really only one entrance right now, and that's the door that you guys came in through from the Hall of Mirrors. And so this is kind of in the top right quadrant, looking towards the front door, which is the middle of the room, and then looking at top right of the room. Away from you, you see a couple boxes move, and some of the dust dissipate off of the boxes because they are being moved.
Warren is like mid-click when he realizes this and goes into like a very shaky-handed, scared, like guard position, ready to go up with the pen still like half clicked in his right hand, and is just and taking cover behind his forearms.
Atticus will try to find a path to move around and try to flank whatever that thing is, hoping that the other two will kind of draw its attention.
Okay. How epically good or funny do I want to make this? Alrighty. Ooh, do I want to make you do that one or that one or that one? So many good choices.
I do have my sword up, ready to strike.
Oh, we going in for the kill party. Alrighty. You know what? This is the. I'm gonna kind of twist this a little bit, and I say, "Ooh, this is gonna be fun." Alrighty. So, in the weirdest way possible, because you are trying to figure out where is the source behind these boxes moving and the dust that is dissipating while you are protecting, I am going to say that this is. I'm going to twist it a little bit, and I'm going to have you roll get a clue. So, you are trying to discern, and you are trying to get information while also protecting. So, technically, this can also be a protect roll as well. Either or, Mr. Atticus, do you have anything on your power tags that you might possibly add to this to help you? First roll of the session.
Let me see here. Let me see. I don't think my mentor's gonna help with this. I think the only things that I might, a lot of stuff is combat stuff. I've got self-discipline and decisive and powerful. Um, yeah, I don't think I have anything that's really going to give me a perception check here. So
All right, just roll your 2d6 and let's see what happens.
I'll roll naked. I got an 8, a 5, and a 3.
Splendid. Alrighty. So just as a quick recap for those of you watching, we are playing. This game is based on the City of Mist system. So all you need are 2 6-sided dice, and hopefully your power tags can give you bonuses. So with that result, because it is in the medium between a 7 and a 10. That means that you are successful in what you are doing, but it's going to have a little bit of a hiccup, and I get to decide what that is. So, Atticus, I'm going to have you kind of describe how you do this, and then we'll introduce the hiccup at some point. So, why don't you narrate this a little bit for me?
All right. So Atticus moves through the boxes, trying to flank the whatever's making that movement in the area where the boxes are moving and the dust is kind of being disturbed, working his way around into an opposite direction of where his friends are. Um, Trying to move in such a way that he's not disturbing any of the other boxes around him, and hopefully finding some things like beams or tall boxes or other furniture or whatever to obscure his movement from whatever is creating the ruckus next to us. Um, and trying to get around to either the side or the back of this thing. And I think he has his sword kind of up, ready to strike. And when he gets close enough and he thinks he can't get any closer than where he's at without giving away his position, um, he takes a few extra steps and kind of bounds over some boxes and comes out with his sword angled down, kind of not to strike the thing that's there, but to have the thing that's there on point. Depending on what the type of boxes are there, maybe landing on the boxes or next to the boxes, depending on how much room there is around that.
Excellent. Alrighty. So I will say that you're able to get up there, and as you kind of prepare to strike, I will say that you do. Here's where the hiccup comes in. So as you strike, it pierces through a couple again because these are cardboard boxes. Your sword can pierce through pretty much anything. However, as you kind of pierce through the box, as it goes through the box, it is, it's just going through like it normally would. And then it stops at a point. And as you feel the impact, think of this like very cartoonish style. You hit a very metallic like box that is inside, we'll say like a toolbox of some sort. It's my game, so I can do what I want. But you hit the thing, and then you just see the vibration of your sword, and then it just travels up. So very like cartoons, like you get vibrated as well, and the vibrations kind of just sending you back a little bit as you are visibly vibrating, and then you kind of just onto the ground. And I mean, if you were talking, it's like, hey, you guy. So, I mean, you make enough of a commotion. Kyler and Warren, you see all this happen as you are kind of like just seeing what's about to happen next. Atticus, you are on the floor. The vibration in your sword and in your entire being has kind of stopped. And Atticus, as you kind of sit up, the boxes in front of you kind of get pushed off to the side a little bit, not in a surprise motion, but more so just regular. And as the boxes get pushed away and you kind of focus on what's in front of you, walking out from these stacks of boxes, you see another person, which is weird because outside of you three, you haven't seen anybody else. And also outside of, the teenager inside of the mirror on the other side of this room, you haven't walked and met any other individuals here. So, Atticus, as you realize that this is another person, another human being, so to speak, um, JT, why don't you introduce your character to us? Gives a little bit of a description, and then I'll just go from there.
So you end up seeing light-skinned male, roughly right 5'7" ish, a what looks to be like a kilt or a pleated skirt on, and black shirt and a vest, uh, with a sizably large book on the side of his persons, um, longer goatee, and some like larger, kind of like Buddhist prayer beads, if you will, but they're tighter against the neck. They don't fall down like they normally would. And short shaved head, uh, kind of graying, if you will. Looks a little bit older. If you were to guess, would probably be later 40s. Or he just really likes to dye his hair a silver color, and it's in kind of a styled mohawk. And yeah, so full on goatee, no scars, no a set of piercings across the ears. Let's see. At the time, also has a kind of a bracelet, like a hanging, like beaded bracelet that matches a lot with the necklace as well. Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Love it. So and I'm gonna start calling people by character names now. So after this description, Atticus, you see this, you analyze this, you internalize this, and of course, this is, well, I mean, in canon, we haven't had this happen yet, but this human being, this is Phineas T. Lockwood. So, Phineas, as you're kind of walking about from these boxes, and directly in front of you, you see this very Power Ranger S individual, and as you kind of turn your head, you see a crop top wearing pirate with the belly piercing for some reason, and you see another person kind of coalescing ink with this clicking of the pen, like most of us with ADHD do. uh, and so yeah, so Phineas, you are just watching. I don't know how to describe it even more to you. So that is what's in front of you.
You know, I've seen weirder between the three of you. I mean, and not by the three of you, I mean more like I've been to some very strange cons and Renaissance fairs, and this kind of matches. Uh, Hi, my name's Phineas. You can call me Lockwood because that's my last name if you feel like it. But what? Why are we stabbing at boxes? What's going on?
Uh, Atticus will kind of collect himself and get up, kind of somewhat embarrassed. Still trying to learn these new powers. Will get up and not point his sword at this new person that's appeared, but just keep it kind of ready at his side. um, and kind of evaluate the new person here. How did you get here?
Through the door. I, I, I don't, I don't actually know how I got here. I just felt myself walk, and suddenly I'm here. And a loud noise kind of snapped me into reality. I think it was your sword running into that box.
Were you in the Hall of Mirrors?
I, I recall a bunch of mirrors. I think. I don't. It is so foggy. My everything is. I'm a little frazzled right now. I'm gonna have to say.
Atticus will look past him to the other two. Do either of you two know him?
No. Hi, I'm. Warren will pull his like scarfy face covering down. Go. Hi, I'm Warren. Um, I don't. I don't really know what we're doing here either, but I know I'm terrified, but I'm here anyway, and this feels like the right path. Did you um all right, this is gonna be weird. Did you also get magical powers? Is that something that you have?
Uh, I mean, I, I feel magical every day, but I don't think I got magic powers. I'm pretty for sure that I would know if I got magic powers.
Cool, cool,
Like,
cool, cool, cool,
do
cool.
I get the costumes that you guys get?
Uh, y- yeah, this kind of seems to come with the whole magic power and like maybe like superhero and secret identity. And Warren remembers that he took his face covering off, and then puts it back up. And yeah. Anyway, that's my deal. Now I'm just and just turns awkwardly to the side and stares at some boxes.
Already given up his secret identity.
Call me Spider-Man.
Well, I don't even have any sort of face covering. I don't. I kind of just Kyler just like is just like, well, if you don't know me now, I guess you do now. Hi, I'm Kyler, and you see as he's like, um, uh, he kind of is standing there, kind of feigning some kind of confidence to like talk to you, but at the same time, he's also like, what the hell is going on right now? He's also dealing with whatever cold draft is hitting him right now.
I have a question. Is the door still not the door to the Hall of Mirrors, but the door to the sanctum, the crystal room, whatever it was? The inner space? No, we're in inner space. The inner space.
I know what I know what you're referring to. There's so many inner words. It is the inner sanctum, but we'll just call it the garden, so it'll be easier. The garden. So yeah, the door to the garden is still there.
I feel like maybe we should take him through there.
Yeah, I'd say that would probably make sense. I mean, like worst case scenario, they just ask him to leave. Maybe they do like that whole alien memory wipe or something. Yeah, let's just hey, do you want to look cool like us? Huh? Power pose.
So I go through that door and I get a nifty outfit.
Uh yeah, I got a pen too.
I
So
mean,
that's
that's that's a very clicky. I used to have a couple of those back in the day.
yeah.
It is, huh. Uh, you know what? Why not? Let's see where this takes us.
Cool.
Don't worry,
Alrighty.
Mother will explain it all.
Mother has arrived.
That not to
I love
offend,
how
and
you
I'm
say that.
sorry
Yeah, so
as we start to walk towards the door. Not to offend, mother. That sounds a little culty.
It probably is.
Yeah, can confirm.
I've been through worse. All right, let's go.
All right, through the door back to the garden we go. Again, I mean, the three of you who are in your hero attire already are familiar with this, but for you, Mr. Phineas, again, as you walk through, you see centered as you go through this door in the middle of this large room, you see a very futuristic console with a giant kind of crystal in the center of it, being surrounded by other crystals of varying different degrees. And the lighting scheme is very iridescent and, rays of light, kind of giving off of all the colors that light refracts and things like that. And as the four of you walk through, at the little one of the consoles, you see little Artio, the alien, as they look at you guys and says, "You guys have only been gone for 5 minutes. What? What? What
We found
happened?"
another one.
5 minutes. It's been 3 hours for us. What are you talking about?
Hello.
I'm just messing with you, RTO.
This is amazing.
Oh, oh, oh. As Artio looks, Artio kind of just looks up. Mother, we have another guest. And so again, from the furthest point of the room, you do see a series of stairs, very elegantly designed and embellished in these crystals. And then coming down is a very large woman in the sense that she has a truly gigantic form. She is very tall. So, of course, walking down, still in her very flowy kind of fabric, in the colors of the Pride Progress flag, is Mother as she walks down. And of course, she begins to state, "My goodness, I did not expect you three to be done so quick." And sees, Phineas is surrounded by by everybody else. And it's like, "Oh, I see. Uh, hmm. Boys, I mean this in the most respectful way possible. Where did you find him?"
He was in a box.
"What's in the box?" A bo- Oh, okay. I think I understand now. Okay. Okay. Oh. And as she kind of is taking in this scene of three heroes surrounded by a regular person, she kind of begins to verbally analyze. It's like, okay, so in the box, so that means he was in the inner space. And then she suddenly stops. She begins to, I say walk, but she also kind of like skates her way through. So she kind of just glides through over to you guys. Again, very tall. And then she kind of shrinks down to a more preferable size about your guys' height. So she's not such a large menacing figure. And as she kind of finishes, condensing down and getting to your guys' size and height, Mother looks at you in particular, Phineas, not in a menacing way, but a very nurturing and a loving way, as most mothers should tend to do. um, and she looks at you. It's faint, but there's definitely something inside. Tell me, why don't And she's kind of intrigued in a very weird analytical way, as she was with our other three. Tell me, well, first and foremost, let me introduce myself. As I'm pretty sure the three mentioned to you, My name is Mother, and this is my humble abode. Please make yourself at home. And you, sir, you are.
As Phineas is staring at like all of the artwork and stuff. Uh, sorry, Phineas T. Lockwood.
Ah, Phineas. What a lovely name. And so, Mother again, kind of walking towards you, Phineas. As I said before, there is something, it's faint, but I sense a light within you, Phineas. Tell me, how did you manage to find your way into, we'll call it an attic for a little bit?
That's actually kind of a good question. Uh, I was just kind of compelled to start walking. I don't know how. And then all of a sudden, I had. It felt like I'd been in this area before. Uh, Things got very foggy, very fuzzy. And by the time that I was able to come out of it, he was slashing at cardboard boxes. I, I don't I don't actually know really what was going on. I know that I had a pretty good party a couple of nights ago, but it shouldn't have done anything now.
Yes! Oh, we're gonna have a lot of fun.
Yeah, I don't I don't know.
So you were compelled to just walk. Interesting. You know, there have been instances where the empathy will call to individuals who have the potential to become something more. So, despite how you got to the decision to start walking, it seems that the empathy has called you, my little one. And granted, she's about the same height as you guys, but as you saw, she can massively expand her height, so that feels about accurate. Tell me, Phineas, how do you view the world? How do you see it as, and what is important to you in it?
I mean, I've always believed that there's always a cause and effect. There's always life and death. Um, Things that I like the I like the big picture. I like the way that details look, much like walking into a place like this is absolutely beautiful. I guess I the thing it always sounds so sappy when I say it, but I always end up fighting for love. Uh, that and to make things just better.
It is, and Mother kind of lovingly chuckles a little bit. That is a beautiful viewpoint and a beautiful reason. And trust me, it is not silly to fight for love. Love can be one of the most powerful things in the world, and it has the weight to definitely change someone in either direction. You, my little one, have a very gentle and a kind soul. And now I have a better grasp as to why the empathy calls you. So tell me, Mr. Phineas, how would you like the ability to fight for love and for the things that are important to you in a way that you never thought possible before.
I, I mean, that could be pretty interesting. Yeah, yeah. Color me intrigued.
Splendid. And mother kind of begins to hold her hands out, and again you see the refracting lights from the various crystals kind of pinpoint down and cascade mother and you, Phineas, in this rainbow light, and says, and mother says to you, only with your permission I will bestow upon you the power that will allow you to fight for love and to protect those things you hold dear. And she kind of just holds her hands out towards you, Phineas.
A small smirk wipes over Phineas's face when he hears this as he reaches out his hands and he simply just grabs on and says, "As you wish."
And with that, Mother, grasps your hands a little bit, and Phineas, inside you feel this warmth and this kind of positive energy kind of coursing through your body. You feel at ease, you feel at peace, and you kind of just feel within your heart, metaphorically speaking, you feel it expand and you feel that capacity to hold the things that are important to you close to you. You feel it begin to expand and you feel different. So, Phineas, I want you to describe to me, what does your magical girl transformation look like, so to speak? And then give us a description of what your hero form looks like as well.
Oh, sure. So as yeah, the has this light dissipated over us yet?
Nope, the light is still kind of spotlighting, if you will, over you and Mother.
Perfect. Theatrics are my greatest thing. So as you're watching this light and the two of them talking back and forth, you start to see what almost look like cherry blossoms uh, form from the ground up in a spiral around Phineas's body, and they get not they get more in quantity, not in size, to the point where it practically envelops his entire being. And as it cascades towards the top, they all stop and kind of just crash over the top of him. Uh, you now see standing in front of you, uh, same height, but it looks almost like he's clad in like Japanese plate mail. And so it's very segmented, it's very squared, not samurai armor, but like if anybody knows what brigandine armor looks like, it's kind of like that. And it goes all the way down towards where his kilt would have been, which is now the equivalent to like a war tasset. And you also notice that there is a large kind of domed rice paddy hat and a longer, it almost looks uh, like a white face mask that is in the shape of the uh, like a kitsune or a fox. And as the last petal drops, you also see a large kanabo or tetsubo form down his backside in a kind of midnight blue color, and a sash or long scarf, super long, that looks almost like it's got not quite like stars, but almost looks like it's got something cosmological, if you will, moving through them as they flap back and forth.
I love it. So as this light kind of dissipates, and instead of it being more of a focus brightness of a spotlight, if you will, it goes back to regular lighting. Warren, Kyler, and Atticus, you now see a transformed Phineas, and then Phineas, you kind of take the time to look over at yourself.
What is that? Those are that. Now, keep in mind, Phineas is also looking through a mask, so it's like he hasn't quite realized that he's looking through a mask yet, though, and so as he's like just dumbfounded at the sheer fact that all of this stuff has just replaced his clothes, and he proceeds to touch his face. That's a wait? What is that's a nose? What I whoever may potentially be the nearest to me, I can't remember, um, to look over, and all of a sudden I'm like, what? Oh, that's a hat. What just happened? What what is on my face? I'm like trying to. Uh, mm, I I don't know if I should take this off. This kind of
Kyler,
feels nice.
Kyler is gonna see this and see his confusion. Was like, oh wait, here, take a look, and he's gonna take out his scimitar and like hold it up so you can almost like see your reflection in the blade.
What?
You look cool.
Holy crap! That what? Hey, what the? And he reaches behind him to is, and you see him kind of like pull backwards and unclip the Tetsubo from his back. That's that's a large that is a large Tetsubo, and you just as he like rocks his hand, it hits the ground, and like you can hear a couple of the metal studs ting, and it's real. Okay, so yeah, that's this is going to take a minute, and he like kind of awkwardly clicks that Tetsubo back into place. Yeah, I'm gonna take a
Take the
couple
time that you
seconds to
need. We all
process.
felt it.
Oh, that's a lot. Oh, my heart feels like it's beating. Oh, Lord Almighty, that's so warm. Okay, cool. Well, I don't, I don't know how to process this. This was a lot more than your guys put in the brochure. So there's that.
Not to put any more pressure on you, but we also got the rundown that there are also others who are probably kind of like us that have the opposite kind of powers.
So you're saying that we're the good guys and they're the bad guys?
Yeah, you're a superhero now, and they're supervillains.
Oh, God.
One of them, I'm assuming it was one of them, is the magician who sucked us into this inner space through mirrors and a bunch of other people at a carnival that we were at. So there's that.
That sounds so villainous. That. Oh. Okay. Okay. Wow. That's just. Wait, did you guys get to pick your names? Yo, I want a name. What should I pick?
Technically, Did we ever actually say our names to each other, or did they just show up in like the imagery of our transformation? Did we see those like nameplates?
The animators made sure to put in your sequence.
Yeah,
So,
like for
I
Warren's, you absolutely saw like a comic style like script font appear in front of him. I imagine that then absent-mindedly he'd be like, "Whoa," and like trace out all of yours with his finger, and then allowing the mighty pen to that across there too. So
That's
yeah,
awesome. That would be. Wait. Hang on. If you'll allow this, I go. You said the light has already receded, right?
yes.
Because I was gonna turn around and see if my name was behind me.
You know what? As it begins to retreat, it quickly comes back down. It's like, and it's,
Oh,
it's just like da 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 da.
yo.
And then in font above, kind of like comic book style, you just see. Well, you see two. So first you see Kitsune, and then you see the backslash, and it says Kit as a nickname. So it's like da 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 da.
I'm gonna strike a hero.
It actually
pose.
reads that. It says Kit as a nickname.
yeah, it's like
I
you
thought
know when a boss gets introduced in Borderlands, it's
Yeah.
that where it's like the big name and then the smaller name.
As that happens, you just see me like shift to the side, kind of look over my left shoulder and grab my Tetsubo in the back, and then Kitsune. Kit.
Confetti, all the works.
Yes. Yeah. All of it. And be like, well, okay. All right. So I guess I got the name Kitsune. Wait a minute. Hang on just a second. And I go to take my hat off and pull the mask off. And I flip it around, take a look at it for a little bit. That's how the name okay. Now. All right. Slide the mask back on, put the hat back on. So now what?
I suppose now we go back to doing what we were doing when we found you.
Stabbing more boxes?
No, we have to figure out how to get that kid out of the mirror and save all the people that got sucked into the mirrors. And apparently, there's something called squeakers or something that's coming after us.
So, I'm sorry, did you just say squeakers?
Yeah, I have a feeling that they're probably something like they're probably some creepy people that probably have some kind of two-face mask things, maybe run around on wheels. Like that kind of like vibe is what I'm getting from.
That sounds horrifying.
And we pan back to the attic.
What? Hey, I know this place.
You guys are aware of like the pan wipe and everything.
It's all of our friend with the pen's fault. He's having this effect on our environment.
Warren's trying to twirl the pen and then drops it, and then as he drops it, it like panned down, like the camera follows the pen, and everyone's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" Oh no! Sorry, everyone. Sorry, we just put that back in my pocket.
Canonically, that is how transitions are not going to work between scenes now.
Oh no, you've given me a horrible power, you two. Oh no.
Yes. Yes.
We'll figure it out.
Just
We'll keep it. This is gonna be fun. But yeah, it's just like you drop the pen, the camera go. What? Everyone's like, "Whoa, what happened? Where'd the lights go?" And then pick it back up, and now you're back in the attic.
I'm like slightly clutching my chest a little bit. Oh, okay. That happened too. Okay. Well, okay.
Once again,
Well,
you're in
that's
the
the first
attic.
time that's happened to us too, so don't worry.
You're in the attic. Y'all experienced your first scene wipe to the next thing. As you guys are, coming to terms with the fact that that's the thing now. The spider is now just, again, still chilling on the box, watching all of you. Now it has a tiny little soda that it's drinking for some reason. And again, it just waves. Hello.
What's up? Nope, not even gonna ask. Let's just keep going.
Again, the spider's just chilling with a little bit of soda as it's just watching you guys like it's a whole movie.
After seeing all of this and having all these weird experiences and seeing the spider, Atticus is going to walk over to the spider.
Okay.
You want to come with us?
The spider looks around and just goes like, huh? As it's pointing to itself.
Yeah.
And just jumps onto your shoulder.
Remind me again, what's the size of this spider? We're talking like daddy long legs, tarantula, bird-eating spider? What?
Oh no. You know what? Just for the sake of it, so this poor little thing doesn't get squashed, we're gonna say it's about the size of a tarantula, but it's non-venomous. It's just, again, kind of imagine this as a spider, but well, I mean, anatomically it looks like a spider, but the consistency of what it looks like, think of like the little smudge monsters from Spirited Away, if you will. Like that's its consistencies. It just looks like a bunch of dust collected and coalesced in itself, and now it's anatomically in the shape of tarantula, but it's just black and it's just chilling.
Cool.
Dang. You just got yourself a familiar.
I do have to say, I traditionally have a habit of collecting pets in our TTRPGs, so you know.
Dang. Okay. Nice.
So do we try and get this guy out of here? Anyone got any ideas?
Well, okay. Is the mirror up against a wall, or is it like freestanding?
It's kind of like freestanding.
Okay. I'm gonna walk around the mirror and see if there's anything on the back of the mirror.
So again, as you kind of look behind it, the mirror, it's kind of just freestanding there. There doesn't seem to be anything. It looks like a normal backside of a mirror.
Okay. Well, okay. Do just an option. Do we break the mirror?
I thought about that too. I feel like that is both too easy and not the right choice. Like I feel like there has to be more to it than that.
Okay.
Atticus is gonna take his sword and, like he did with the coat rack, uh, touch the mirror with his sword, just the tip, as he touches against the surface of the mirror.
Just to see how it feels.
Exactly.
I'm gonna put that down as the innuendo count number 2. Yes, by the end of this campaign, we will figure out how many innuendos we have made in this game.
Oh, you're keeping count, are you?
Oh no! Oh no!
Okay. Okay.
This is what happens. I need to learn to keep my big mouth shut. All right. So, as in the words of Atticus, not me, he is going to, just the tip the mirror. Oh my god. This is why we're rated 18 plus. So, again, Atticus, you kind of did this before. As you kind of poke just the tip, if you will, the mirror, again, it kind of just pulsates a little bit. So, and it has a rippling effect, kind of like, again, I pull a lot of pop culture references, but like the paintings from, Super Mario 64 and the way that the paintings ripple when you enter in them. So every time you touch it, it just ripples. You feel like you could, nope, not gonna say it. You feel like if you go further, you will enter the said mirror. I almost said something that would have been taken out of context. I'm not trying to be a Twitch clip.
I don't get it.
We've broken Atticus.
All right. I'm gonna try and say it with a straight face because I'm not trying to make it an innuendo, but right. I feel like
Oh no. This is the first time I have ever broken Andrew in this capacity. I am loving it.
Sir, you are an acting streamer. Center yourself.
I feel like if I push, I can go farther in.
Yeah, so I mean, you know what? Let's just do it. I don't care if I become a meme out of this. So you seem to be able to, push it in further and to kind of penetrate whatever this force of the mirror is. There, I said it. Somebody clip me.
I feel like I can pierce the membrane and enter the mirror.
Yes, poke it with a stick.
Is my sword like, because my sword gives off my halo instead of it being around my head? Did it grow or diminish at all when it touched the mirror?
I mean, yeah, it just gets, it lights up, it sparkles. So as you kind of push it, you see the light kind of illuminating the mirror as you push it further and further in.
All right, what the heck? Let's go for it. Atticus is going to drive his blade into the surface of the mirror. Not all the way in, just like halfway in. Does anything happen?
Just
Wait,
no.
I also want to be aware of noticing if the point of the blade is getting close to the person inside, so I don't like drive into the mirror and stab this person if that's even a possibility.
You don't want to hit something solid.
Yeah.
So yeah, as you push it in and you get about, your sword is like halfway in, you do feel it kind of stop a little bit, and you feel like you could turn your sword a little bit as well, and you feel like you hear some sort of clicking. It's like,
That's never good.
and then a bomb explodes. No, just kidding.
Atticus is gonna see if he can now push the blade down like he's trying to cut open the mirror.
You do, and as you do so, you see kind of like light coming from where you cut through the mirror, like you cut through a piece of fabric.
That's it? Just lights coming out. There's no like goo or anything.
No,
Okay. It
like
rippled like there was
the
like
ripple
liquid,
is shimmering,
so, yeah,
and
just
you
wanted
look
to make
like
sure.
yeah.
He's gonna look around to everybody else like and shrug his shoulders since they can't see his face because he's got a full helmet on.
You're literally slicing that mirror open.
Yeah.
Do any of us have the ability to see the backside of that mirror?
I mean, Warren did take a look behind the mirror, and he concluded that it looks like it's a regular mirror. So this was before the pre-stabbing of the sword.
Okay. So where would Warren be in conjunction to the rest of us?
That is a good question, Warren. Where would your position be
I
after?
think I wouldn't be behind the mirror.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to do like a walk around. I think for like cinematic comedy's sake, I would like to have like a side-on view of this sword into mirror kind of thing to like witness the magic and then react to it in a traditional scared and uncomfortable kind of way.
Yeah.
'Cause this
So
is way too much.
like kind of sort of staring at Atticus, currently stabbing a mirror, and then proceeding to look, switching gaze, like camera A, camera B kind of thing, like between Warren and Atticus. Like, okay, what's what is
Um,
going on?
I will click the pen again just a couple of times like a fidget, right? And get a little bit of an idea. Um, and I'd like to go to the back of the mirror because I assume that I can't see like a sword poking through it, right?
No.
Okay. I want to go to the back of the mirror and um, I want to draw a symbol on the bottom thing of the mirror. And then above it, I want to do like a little label because I don't know if my pen works off of just words or if I could do drawings as well for this reality warping pen. But I'd like to write in there in as even handwriting as possible, drain plug, and do a little arrow and have like a little like boing that I could pull out. And I'm not gonna do it yet, but I just want to see with this pen if I can do a little a little arrow editor note kind of thing and see what happens if that's possible.
Oh, that's brilliant. So, Warren, as you drew, I'm just going to say that you're able to do this because that's epically awesome. I'm not going to make you roll for that. So, as you take your pen and you kind of draw with it, you draw, this arrow and all that, it looks great on the surface. And then again, kind of like a la sketch in your little Tamagotchi too, you see the arrow begin to kind of animate itself, but it is still on the surface of this mirror. So the arrow kind of, for all intents and purposes, is animated and kind of just is standing straight up the point where the tip of the where the two lines intersect and make the top of the arrow, and it kind of just goes as far as it does to kind of give you a little bow and just waves. It's like there.
Um okay. That's this this holding up the pen is entirely too much power. So you're just gonna go back in the pocket. Emergency use only. Guys, I have an idea, and I think we should go in the mirror, but I have a backup plan on the off chance that I don't know, like something happens or whatever. So maybe someone should go in first, and like I don't know, maybe somebody like brave or something, and then I can be back here as like emergency, and then we can kind of plan from there. How does that work with you guys?
Who who's
Tyler
closest
kind of
to?
just shrugs. And,
Okay.
oh, I was gonna say to that, Kyler's just gonna shrug and be like, "Okay," and he's gonna walk towards the mirror.
Because
Almost like that, like kind of look of what are we waiting for?
Just shrugs your shoulders, like, walks into the mirror.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so Kyler, you just see the mirror with the giant ripple into it from Atticus's sword, shrug your shoulders, and you literally walk through without no problem.
Atticus is gonna pull his sword out of the cut he made, and when Kyler goes through, kind of grab onto his arm, not to stop him, but to be like
Like a
a
chain?
lifeline. Yeah, basically not knowing what's gonna happen. Just try to be a safety catch for that. Like, oh, we should probably think about a little bit of something before you just jump in there.
Even with rope, it is nothing safe. Anyone who has played Persona 4 remembers what happened when they tried tying rope to the main character. And what happened with that? All right, so
And
Nap.
Atticus will be prepared to grab the frame of the mirror too, assuming that's like at least a somewhat solid surface.
cool. Alrighty, so Atticus, you're holding on. Kyler, we're gonna come to you. So Kyler, you walk through the threshold of the entry of this mirror, and as you walk in, you kind of find yourself probably about maybe about 8 to 9 feet in front of you. It seems like you find yourself kind of like in this very straight, like narrow pathway that's kind of being illuminated. Again, pulling pop culture. If anyone remembers Kingdom Hearts 2, if your fight with Axel, kind of like in the nothing space, if you will, kind of picture that as this. But again, there's no enemies, there's no malicious things, there's no malice. It's just a simple pathway. And in front of you, you kind of see a shimmering, again, of what looks to be a circus down this pathway.
Another circus. Well, hopefully this one's a little bit less eventful than the last time. I'm gonna peek back out of the mirror to the rest of the folks and be like, and essentially describe what I see as like it's kind of a nothing space, nothing dangerous, but there appears to be another circus down the path. But seems safe enough for now.
I doubt that it is, but I feel like we should probably go there.
Yeah, we probably kind of have to, but at least for the immediate time, it's safe.
What the hell? We've got superpowers. And he'll pat the little dust on his shoulder and walk on through.
Alrighty, so Atticus, you walk through. Kyler, you are back in the mirror. So that just leaves Warren and Phineas.
Can I'm still behind the mirror, like poking my head around so I could be a part of the discussion. Can I look at my pen? Is it an erasable pen?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I'm gonna click out the eraser, like do a little twisty twist to get the eraser. I'm just gonna erase the mark that I did on the back of the mirror, and kind of like hesitate over the semi-sentient drawing, and like wave and see if it's like okay that I'm like holding an eraser and waving at it.
I will say anything that you create understands that it may or may not be temporary. So instead of having an existential crisis of the meaning of what it means to be erased, it just kind of just gives you a nod and kind of just, again, metaphorically tips its hat at you. It understands. Your drawings understand.
Okay, great. Okay, yeah, great. And just erase that, and then the moment it's all done, just like have my own existential crisis and look over at Kit and go like, okay, I think I'm gonna go in the general plot direction.
You there? Like, what were you? What were you doing?
I created life and then I took it away, and I don't know if it knows that, but I know that, and like I know it's somehow worse actually knowing that it knows that it's okay that one day it will die, because that reminds me that one day I will die, and while I'm okay with that, I'm not okay with that, and I just don't know. So I'm
You know
just
that arrow probably had a family, right?
You just see Atticus's head sticking out of the mirror.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna go save as many people as I can, I guess, and shove the pen as deep into an internal pocket as it possibly can go, and just head down through the mirror. I just can't anymore.
Man, just muttering to myself, walking through the mirror. That was strangely deep, and then just like right through the
It's
mirror.
the thought Atticus had about the mirror and his sword.
Yeah.
Heyo. We have fun here. Alrighty, so the four of you enter through the mirror. You guys, it only takes you like about 30 seconds to walk up to this shimmering image, if you will, of what looks to be another circus. So, Kyler, as you are, for all intents and purposes, leading the group, you 4 end up at the precipice of this kind of shimmering image of a circus, if you will. Kyler, since you're at the front, what would you like to do?
Uh, Interesting. Well, do I see anyone else? Are we alone, or is there like other mirror people walking around?
That is an interesting take. So that's an interesting thing. So here's what you see. So as you see a giant blob. No, I'm just kidding. Remember that puppet that you saw in the hallway? No, just kidding.
Ah!
It came back to haunt your dreams. I'm just kidding. No,
Good
so
Lord.
as you are looking inwards, you do see that it's not a static image. You do see kind of, let me put it this way. So you see the image of a circus beyond this little portal, if you will. And as you take a couple of, like a minute to look at it, or a couple seconds, you see moving in the background, you see a kind of young, not quite teenage yet, maybe like a boy around 11, 10, 11 ish, kind of like running around with a look of, not worry is not the correct word, but it's like, oh gosh, oh gosh, oh gosh. And you can actually hear it's like, come back, you guys. Now is not the time to play hide and seek. I gotta get you. They cannot see you. They cannot see you. As he's like running back and forth in the imagery, like going beyond your vision of what seems to be crates of some sort. So you just see him going back and forth.
Yeah, I'm gonna describe this to the rest of the guy, but I'm gonna try to like whisper so that they don't like hear us in there. Like
Is
I immediately see that there is something in there, and I'm almost like go into my own little stealth mode. You see Kyler's presence just like shrink up and like is almost like peeking now. But it's like, yeah, we're not alone.
is this? You said it's an image of this. Is this like a framed picture, or are we actually walking up to this moment?
Hmm. So imagine it kind of being, all right, so let me give this to you. So think of it as like a rectangular frame, but instead of it being like a complete frame that's like hung up on a wall where you have to step over the bottom part to get in, imagine like the top and then the two sides of a frame, the bottom is gone. So it's like what happens if you take a frame and you make it a doorway, so to speak. So it's about the size of a door, but there's no actual like physical barrier. There's no knob that you need to turn. It's literally you could just walk through if you want to.
So it's an archway, but
Yes,
that's a
an archway.
door.
Yes. See, I have people be smart for me sometimes. Words. Yes, but it is an archway. It is an archway.
Well, since one of my descriptions is what is it? I was gonna say divisive. That's not it. It's decisive and powerful. Atticus is gonna walk up to the doorway, reach his hand out to see if there's any kind of Ripley mirror-esque thing.
It is. So you kind of put your hand through,
Okay.
and you feel like the same thing with the mirror. It kind of pushes back a little bit. It's very ripply. There's one little problem though, Atticus. So as you stick your hand in, you begin to feel yourself get further and further into the thing, like something is pulling you through.
Am I able to pull my hand back, or is it like got a hold of me?
It's got a hold of me. You know what? Let me have my dice decide. It's got a hold on you, so it's just like you're like
All right. I'm gonna look to everyone else and say, "Well, here I go," and he's just gonna go with
You just
it and
allow the
walk
force
through.
to pull you in.
Yeah.
Alan's gonna try to reach out to his wrist to try to grab him as he's getting pulled in there. Is it obvious, like from us outside, that he's getting pulled in there?
I'm gonna say yes. So Kyler, you grab on, but you now feel yourself also being pulled when Atticus is like 3/4 of the way through.
Atticus is actually gonna do the flip the wrist thing around and grab onto Kyler's arm, pulling him in with it.
Yep, that is exactly how that goes down.
Ah!
Yeah.
I got you, and I'll grab onto Kyler's other arm.
Okay. Hang on. What was the Warren? What was your you have like shimmering clothing, right?
Yeah, so it's Warren's costume is it's all black and white base, but he
Okay.
has like boxer hand wraps that are shimmering rainbowy colors that seem to, like, every time you touch
That's
them it kind of flexes out like a polychrome kind of thing.
okay. This might sound a little weird. Do you have a belt?
Yes, always.
The belt grab, and just be like, "Well, I guess we're training this thing in. Let's go."
Yeah, so the four of you get pulled into this archway, and comically, you guys kind of get quote unquote spat out, like, like that's the sound effect that happens. And the four of you end up kind of falling onto the ground. You compose yourself, and as you look in, again, you find yourself at a circus. I'm going to reuse some imagery here because I can. But you see this younger boy. So what you see is not exactly what you see, so to speak, but you find yourself, you know, in the circus as grand and whatnot, and you see this young boy just running around, be like, "Get over here, you guys!" I was like, "Now's not the time to play. Now's not the time to play."
Are we still in our superhero clothes?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Just making sure.
And this voice is saying that to someone else, not to us, right?
Correct.
Okay.
I'm assuming, is this? Do we recognize this as the boy that was floating in the mirror?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So again, this boy is running around.
Atticus will look to Kyler and Warren, since we had kind of observed this mirror earlier. I mean, I feel like this is where we're supposed to be, right? Like this, we found him.
The Will Smith meme. You're like,
This feels like the plot, yes.
Shall we? And he's gonna indicate, like, let's go get him. Figure out what the hell's going on here.
You see as Kyler unsheathes his scimitar and pistol, and basically looks at you and goes, "If we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this. Lead the way."
Alrighty. So I will say this because this is gonna be fun. So as you guys kind of begin walking forward to get more into the scene, as we put it, as you guys walk, you hear the tiny voice whisper loudly. They're not even trying to hide it. There's like 1, 2, 3. And as you guys are walking, you feel yourself kind of trip over what seems to be someone pulling a rope in front. So it's just like, whop! And it's not in a way where it's like, oh gosh, it's an ambush. It's more so like mischievous, like just getting tripped up. So as you guys are walking forward, you guys get tripped up by this rope. And as you kind of are all laying on the ground looking up, and you do hear these voices, it's like, ha, try to catch us if you can, catch us if you can. So as you look up, you see Well, first of all, you see what look to be these very tiny, tiny, tiny little creatures that are just colorful and bright and are cute. They also happen to be holding different things that a magician would normally do. So, players, I would like to formally introduce you to the Squeak Squad.
Oh no.
I don't like it.
Wow. That is. All right.
So, as you look up at the Squeak Squad, they literally say, "Catch us if you can," and they begin to kind of like bounce off, and very cartoony style. You hear like the sound effect of a bouncy ball every time they take a step. It's like squeak, squeak, squeak.
Atticus is gonna look over to his dust bunny.
The spider's just chilling and is like, "Hello." You're just like, what did the spider just looks at the Squeak Squad, looks at you, looks at the Squeak Squad again, looks back at you, looks back at you again, and just does a sigh. It's just like, like pointing, like, do you want me to go get them?
Oh, sure. Yeah, let's go.
And the spider kind of just jumps off and begins to crawl its way through. It's like, and begins to like, again, the scene in front of you as you guys are watching this. You see this spider kind of create its webbing and like a cowboy start lassoing that thing as it's chasing some of the Squeak Squad around, trying to lasso them.
Anyone see where that kid went?
Can we roll for that?
I will say that as you guys like walk, as you guys went through the archway, you did see the boy go off to the left of your periphery of vision, and as you are kind of more in the open area of the circus, you do see what looks to be a young boy kind of running through a like curtained off area, still yelling, "Get back here!"
I think you went that way. Wait, why do we need to go after the kid?
That is an excellent question. So that kid, pointing towards the direction of the kid, that kid is the key to being able to get everybody out of, hopefully rescue everyone who was pulled into these mirrors and stuff. And that kid is probably like at the heart of all of this. I don't know, like negativity or ignorance or whatever we want to call it for this particular area, I guess. And I don't I mean I don't really know if we just want to go in and like punch him right in the face or if we should try and talk to him first, but something, we need to find that kid and we need to get him to like either let everyone go or tell us how to get everybody like help or something, I guess.
I think we're gonna have to help him. I don't know what that means, but from what Mother told us, I feel like that's ultimately what we're gonna have to do.
Collectively getting them back here, I guess.
I think we need to find him and figure out what's going on. What's with this circus? Why is it this is the place we were drawn to and he's stuck?
Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Let's go get him.
Alrighty. So, as you are kind of making your way towards the direction of the child, you guys turn to the side and you see the spider continuing to lasso some of the Squeak Squad, the Squeak Squad. Like some of them are like hog-tied, like cattle are afterwards. And then one of them is now riding the spider as a cowboy, but like in a way that the spider gave permission. And one of the the little squeak is going, yippee ki yay, yeah! And just now your spider has gone from missionary focus to missionary focus, but also having a great time playing with the Squeak Squad. They're having a great time.
I guess at this point, as long as they're distracted.
Alrighty. So as you four walk towards the direction of this young boy, you make your way up to like I said, this curtained off area. And as you kind of pull aside the curtains a little bit, you see inside what looks to be a makeshift dressing room, if you will. So you have a large kind of mirror with all the accoutrements of the lights and like different palettes of makeup and stuff that people use. Off to the side you see a bunch of circus items, kind of like juggling pins, and a box that is labeled spray flowers, kind of like what the clowns have that they wear to spray water at you. You see the very stereotypical disappearing box is like, get in this box, oh no, they disappear. Anything magic, magician related, and circus related is possibly in here, with the centerpiece being this mirror. And as the four of you kind of push back the curtain, you see this young boy near the mirror and says, finally, I got you. And from his viewpoint, he's holding it up so you guys can see this. So you see a little squeak, and this squeak is basically the same one that's in the center of this picture, that is just doesn't have a face but has its tiny little hands with the top hat covering most of its face, with this little cape and his little bow tie. And this this little squeak is on this boy's palm and just begins to dance, and is like, hey. The boy begins to speak. What have I told you? I was like, you guys can't come out and play. I'm trying to do stuff around here. Ah! And the squeak just begins to sticks its hand into his cape and pulls out like an overly sized flower and just sprays water onto the kid. The squeak is laughing. The kid doesn't look impressed, but then he breaks his seriousness and is like, okay, that was a good one, and begins to proceed to laugh with all of this. As he is enjoying his time with the squeak, and as you guys are watching this kind of from the precipice of the curtain, you guys take a step forward, but then coming from a distance, you hear another voice kind of yell out at the as is like, Adrian, where are you? What have I, this kid? Adrian, where are you? And you see that this kid and his squeak begin to like, oh, snaps. And the kid's like, okay, get in my pocket, get in my pocket. Don't move, don't move, don't move. And coming into your vision, you see a very elegantly dressed male, about to be in his early 40s or so. Very similar to the outfit that the magician, well, for the three of you that came from the circus that landed you in this situation, looks very similar to the magician that you guys saw at the circus before everything got crazy and people got sucked into mirrors, though it is not the same person. So this figure walks in, Adrian, and looks at, walks up to this young child and begins to say, Adrian, what have I told you about running off? We are trying to get this act correct, and I can't get it right if my assistant keeps running off. Ay, goodness, child, what have you been doing this whole entire time? Well, nothing in particular. I thought I left something in here, so I went to go get it, and then, I kind of just got preoccupied, and I'm sorry, Dad. And this older magician, I understand, and I know that you love all this, but you cannot keep running off, and you cannot Do whatever you want. There is a particular set of ways that this has to be done. And by you constantly running off and making me have to chase you, you are not taking this seriously. Aye, but I have found you. That is the important bit. So I guess we can go back so I can teach you the proper way to do magic. And as he kind of exacerbates himself, the magician looks down at this kid, and you see that his front like pocket of his suspenders begin to move a little bit, and you see the magician's face just turn into a very disappointing disgust, if that makes any sense. Like, are you kidding me? And with a flick of his wand, you see the little squeak come floating out of the pocket. And so the squeak is just there and just like, hello. The kid's like, I don't know where that came from. I don't know. I was like, the dad floating, just holding the squeak in the air as it's kind of just chilling, looks at the child and says, what have I told you about using magic for nonsensical things? Why do you continue to bring these little creatures to life? And the kid's like, it was an accident, I swear, it kind of just happened. No, I don't want to hear your excuses. I'm not going to ask you or tell you again. You do not have time for childish things. Magic is a thing of rules and regulations, and there has to be a certain flourish to it, not whatever these things are. And with a flick of his wrist, the magician kind of, with the little squeak in the air, begins to say some sort of incantation, and the little squeak begins to kind of lose its color a little bit, and then just falls flat. So now think of it as like kind of like a D&D mini, but more like clay-like than plastic-like, and it's kind of just like putty on the ground now. And as you look at this boy, you just see what was a sense of excitement and fun that he was having with this little squeak now turns into a soul crushing expression of, oh man. And it's just, you get the vibe that this is not the first time that this conversation has happened. So this poor kid who is bringing these little squeaks to life, probably not somebody who has money friends. And so his dad walks up to this little putty like squeak, not even without wasting a second, steps on this thing, and now it's just a flat piece of clay on the ground now. And the magician turns around and says, when you're ready, come back so we can do this again. I would say I'm disappointed, but that would be an understatement. What am I going to do with you? And kind of begins to walk off. The boy walks over to the squished clay, picks it back up, and you start to see his eyes begin to become red and tear up a little bit and start to quietly, you see him cry as tears begin to cascade down his poor rosy cheeks. And then so that is what you see. So this whole entire thing played out in front of you guys.
Warren, I feel like you're going to be able to relate to this guy all of a sudden.
Yeah. Yeah, that stings. Thanks for that. Thanks. That's what an allied move to do. Yes.
I'm just expressing my empathy towards your shared experience.
Oh, got it. Yeah, no, in that case, then yeah, I take back my snide comment. That was coming from a place of hurt people hurting people. I'm sorry. Yeah, I think I'm gonna. Do you think the coast is clear? Can I go probably talk to this kid real quick?
Before we get to that, Phineas, you were going to say something?
Yeah, did anybody... That feels a little weird that... nobody realized that we're standing in costume in front of these people and nobody even bothered to look at us. Kind of weird. Just saying. Uh, yeah, but I guess maybe we should go comfort the kid.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is, I mean, based on what we've seen, I feel like this is his kind of culminating moment, or at least the beginning of it. This is his. I feel like we know where some ignorance might be born.
This is the villain origin story.
And
Yeah.
I was about ready to say that. That's the kind of stuff that makes villains. Just saying.
Yeah.
Uh, Atticus is gonna look back over. Can we see the ruckus with the other squeaks going on still, or is that like out of our line of sight?
So as well, I'll say all of you for this. So as you guys kind of turn and look at this, you see the poor little spider somehow made a handkerchief out of its own webbing, and it's like dabbing its little tears. But more important, I mean, that's the comedic effect. But get ready for the gut punch. So as you are turning around, he has rounded up the rest of the squeaks, and you also see the squeaks kind of holding each other and just looking on, and they kind of move their way past you guys, and the squeaks kind of the squeaks walk up to this young boy who's still crying and kind of are just like with their tiny little arms kind of like hugging the base of his leg and things like that because they're not that big. They're about the size of kind of like they're kind of the size of like a small little ball that you can hold in, kind of the size of a baseball kind of, but they begin to surround him and kind of just hug him, and they kind of begin to cry a little bit too as they are mourning the loss of the top hat squeak, if you will. And the spider crawls back up to your shoulder, Atticus, still holding the little handkerchief and just looking on, not really making any noises, not breaking line of sight of what is in front of them. So it is safe to say that the spiders and the rest of the squeaks saw what happened too. But now the squeaks have moved from behind you guys, kind of made their way around you, and are now kind of trying to comfort the boy.
Atticus will tap the dust spider on the head. Don't worry, pal. I'm not gonna step on you. Like you're okay. Now, being slightly more responsible for this thing, he decided to take along with him.
Alrighty, so let's go back to Warren. So Warren, you said that you were going to do something. You were going to walk up to this kid.
Yeah, I think as that scene kind of finishes playing out, Warren's going to um flip down his hood but leave the bottom mask on and walk towards this kid trying to get into his like line of sight to see if there's any reaction to him walking up, because Kit does have a really good point. This is strange that we're standing here and nobody seems to notice.
So as you okay, this is gonna be fun. So as you walk up to this I gotta word this properly. So as you walk up to this sad little boy, I will say, Ward, as you are walking up to him, because he's directly in the center for the dramatic lighting, if you will, and of course he's a little bit way off, is the giant kind of dressing room mirror, if you will, with all the makeup and paint, face paint and stuff like that. Warren, as you literally and metaphorically walk into the light, you first notice that as you stare directly at the mirror, your appearance is not the same as it is currently. So you are dressed in your hero form, but as you look into the mirror, it seems to be that you look more like and I mean this in the best way possible, not like an actual thing, but you look like you look more like a circus clown now.
Oh, fun. Great.
Your
Okay.
appearance, your appearance is changed.
We got quantum leaped.
Yay. Didn't know that was on my TTRPG bucket list, but can cross it off. Warren, seeing the circus clown like stops mid step and like does his very best to suppress a shudder, because that's not okay. And then I guess puts the foot down, fully expecting to hear like clown shoes squeak as it hits, and just all right, fine, and keeps walking towards the sad child.
So as you get closer to sad child hears you walking up, looks up at you, and just not even uttering a single word, just face all red, tears are running down, cannot utter a single word to express what is happening, and kind of just it's just looking at you with a non-verbal cue of what am I supposed to do.
Hey, hey there, little guy. And look over the shoulder at the others, and like, back over to the kid. Um, I'm really sorry. Uh, I know, I know that that's probably a difficult thing that's probably happened before. Um, and I, at that point, Warren will like scratch his head a little bit and then absent-mindedly fish out the pen again and twirl it between his fingers, not really realizing that's what he's doing. Um, it's always difficult when you feel so happy and so creative about something, and then someone comes along and kind of just takes all that joy away. But it's important to remember that, like, if you're happy with your creations, and will point at like his chest, um, with the pen in between his fingers, uh, if you're happy with your creativity and with what you make, that's really where true creative happiness comes from, right? Never stop creating, never stop doing your best to be better, but like, you can't let others get you down, you know? And with that, he'll like move his hand and the pen will flip around his thumb, and he'll kind of catch it in the palm, and then like, how did I, oh, all right. And then back to fidgeting, and with the clicks be like, uh, yeah. And you know what? Like, that guy, that's not nice. That's not how you treat other people. It doesn't matter how old, or if you're supposed to be assisting or anything like that. You get a creative urge. Sometimes you got to see that through, and it's your responsibility to make sure that you're doing your best to support those in your life that deserve your support. But at that same time, that also includes you, little dude. And yeah, that's that's my those are my inspirational words and bit of advice to you. Be responsible with yourself, but be nice to yourself at the same time. And here, I might actually be able to help a little bit. I'd like to click the pen, and on the smushed bit of clay, um Warren like stops and goes like, I'm not a sculptor, I don't. Okay. And then we'll draw like two eyes and then like a really shaky smiley face on it, and then click and be like, there, let's take a moment and see what happens with this thing that I've just done now. um yeah.
So I'm gonna say that while it doesn't look exactly like this little like squeak that it was before it got squished, it does kind of your pen allows it to kind of coalesce back into somewhat of an animated figure. Now it has like a very derpy like like smile on it. Um, the kid looks at it. This little squish clay kind of just waves at the child, and you see Well, let's see how this reacts. Warren, I'm going to have you roll for me.
I would love to.
So, Warren, I am going to have you. So, because you are trying to comfort and to, create a quote unquote safe space and to calm the child who is at the center of this inner space in this memory, I'm going to have you roll a care. So, that is the move that I'm having you do. So, care is basically when you are trying to remove anything negative, trying to calm someone or the inner space down. So, Warren, do you have any power tags that will allow you to add any bonuses to comforting and caring for this young child?
Yeah, actually, I think I do. So I have inspirational words, which is under my signature of the wielder of the mighty pen. I also think um, I would like to try and put my realness for mastering my craft of put my heart into it, because I think this is a perfect struggle for something that Warren exhibits, which we haven't gone full into his backstory, but this is dramatic foreshadowing of some of the problems where you've got people criticizing or telling you what you should be doing with your time, which you might feel that you want to spend your time and your creative talents in a different kind of way. So I think I think Atticus was right. This strikes a chord with Warren in that this is really where his heart lies. Of you have a job and you have a responsibility to be supportive and support yourself, but part of supporting yourself is being creative, and that's where his heart lives. So I'd like to add those two, please.
Alrighty, I will allow it. So, you can add +2, so let's roll the dice and see what happens.
Okay. Oh, nice. Okay. Well, I have an inappropriate D6. Um, that that we're past the hour mark on stream, right? We can swear on Twitch, right?
Yeah.
So that one says "fuck you," so that's a 6. And then on my other 6, which my sibling got me this set for our holiday times. So thank you, Finn. Also rolled a 6, so that's 2 6s plus 2. So
You got a 14?
I did in fact get a 14.
So that is the max success. Holy crap. So, oh man, so you get the perfect possible thing. All right, so on a 14, you see this child look at this newly, not the same, but more derpy looking clay formation with that you created with your pen by giving it a face. And you just hear this child just burst into laughter, pick this clay thing up, kind of like forehead to its tiny little forehead, and is just overjoyed with the fact that while not the same, he did not lose his he didn't lose his little friend, and his friend that he lost is now back, just in a different form. He turns to you again. You are in the appearance of a circus clown, and he just smiles and says, "Thank you," and kind of like wipes away his tears a little bit. And then, as children mostly tend to do, no impulse control, just kind of moves into your direction and gives you a hug, Warren.
Uh, Warren will. I feel like Warren's been like down on a knee to be like eye level with child. Warren is like hands up like this with the hug and just and looks back at everyone and then does like a really tender and loving pat, pat, pat.
You're doing great, champ.
Yeah. And then like open palms on the shoulders and just like, there we go. You did. Yeah. Thanks for that. Always ask permission before you touch another human. That's another good lesson. And my inspirational for words for you, and those are free.
Especially when they're dressed like a clown.
100% true. Yes. Um, this is not a normal thing that you should ever do, and that's we're learning here, kids. And Warren will stand up and like brush off his knees a little bit and go, so what's next for you, little dude?
Well, I mean, technically, I'm supposed to go back with my dad and do the trick, but I think I'm gonna take the long way back, and kind of just smiles, looking at the rest of the squeaks. It's like, all right, squeaks, don't be running off now, but let's take the long way back. And you see this child kind of hold out his hand, and the squeaks kind of just jump up into his palm, and he kind of places them on the shoulder. So now they're all spread out on his shoulder, on top of his head, in the pocket of his, overall suspenders. And it's just like, all right, Squeak Squad, rolling out, and begins
Oh.
to kind of walk.
Just a minute, little one, as I start walking towards where Warren was. You said your dad had to do a final trick? What is that? Was that part of the show? We came in a little late, sorry.
Well, my dad has been, well, I'm not supposed to tell, because, magicians never tell their secrets, but, you didn't hear this from me, but, but, my dad's been working on a trick with mirrors. I don't know exactly how that works per se, but, he says that he's able to kind of create, well, what did he call it? Started with a D, like Domples, Deeples, Derples.
Like
Atticus is going to move into the room.
Yeah, exactly. Doppelgangers. I don't know what that word is.
Think of it like, do you know what a clone is? Have you ever heard of that before?
Isn't it a clone? Isn't it what he is, as he points to Warren? And remember, he sees Warren as a clown.
That's true. So he sees him in the mirror, right?
Yes.
I look over at the mirror. I'm gonna go look at the mirror.
So Phineas, as you look at the mirror, you are dressed kind of like an animal tamer, dressed up in a cowboy outfit.
Oh, okay.
Yeehaw.
Yeah, so kind of like how he looks. It's almost like looking in a mirror, but it's in real life.
Oh.
Warren, under his breath, goes, "Am I the only one who's dressed like a clown? What the kind of bull?" And I have to. No, this is unacceptable. We gotta go. We gotta get this now. Absolutely not.
Atticus is gonna come into the room to try and join the conversation, and I think he'll walk over to the other two, and as he does so, he'll just try to catch a glance in the mirror, but keep walking, just to know what he looks like. What's he see?
This is gonna be fun. So, Atticus, as you step into the light and you look at the mirror, kind of trying to join into the conversation too, you look over. So, you look over and as you look in, you look like you are. You look like you're an acrobat, and like with the tights and the ballet shoes and everything, and just like spandex is spandex and more spandex.
That's kind of fitting for the costume that I'm actually wearing. All right, I can live with that. That'll be his inner thought as he walks over. You said you're gonna take the long way to where your dad is doing this trick.
Uh-huh.
Where's the short way?
I mean, technically, it's only like 30 seconds. I just walk out the tent, take a right, and then back where all the rest of the performers are kind of staying. He's practicing by his trailer. The long way is I just go all the way around. Might go, visit the animals, might go, do some other things, and then I might make my way back.
That sounds like a good idea. I think you should go that way.
I mean, I was going to do so anyways, but all right.
I feel like we need to stop what he's doing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's sounding like what we've been seeing a lot of like odd doppelgangers in these mirrors like us. I think that might be the source of what we're talking about.
You don't. Mm, you said, Mike, you said that when we saw the dad magician, he looked basically he was dressed the same but looked like a different person than the magician we saw.
Yes.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
I might have an answer.
Even though it was a small kid, how familiar did that child look to the magician that we remember? Yeah.
I mean, you would have to age him up a little bit, but I'm not even going to make you roll for this. This is basically that magician from your guys' world, but just in a younger form.
I think the trick his father taught him is what brought all of this to happen. We might have solved the child problem, possibly, but we might need to deal with the father to make sure he never learns that spell.
Do you think that magician that was at the circus where we were was a doppelganger of that kid? I mean, the
I
puppet
don't think
thing that
it
you
was a
saw was
doppelganger of that
pretty
kid.
creepy.
Yeah, I don't think the magician we encountered was a doppelganger. I think it is the kid just grown up, and we're just looking at the that magician's past self.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think
I
that's the kid for sure.
I think I think in terms of what actually happened is he ended up resenting his father so much that he grew up and turned into what he did. Maybe if we did something about it now, we might stop it from actually occurring.
I mean,
Or
I think
maybe,
yeah,
yeah.
I think we definitely need to stop the dad from whatever he's doing, but we probably got to do it in such a way that we're not just going to turn the kid into, someone that's going to hate us because we, did something to his dad.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We need to figure out a more how do I say it, less violent way of handling this. I think it's good that the kid is taking the long way around.
Yes, I think we should probably go there before he gets.
we should probably yeah.
Can I see everyone else in the mirror?
You definitely can. So, just to recap, Warren is a clown, Atticus is an acrobat and lots of spandex. You, Phineas, are a animal tamer dressed in a cowboy uniform, and as you kind of look at Kyler, I mean, it's not far off of what he's currently wearing. You look in the mirror, and he looks to be dressed as a fire eater. Like, so very, very, very hot topic punk, like piercings, and like he has a shave. Half of his head is shaved to one side, and
I'm looking at that style, and he's like, I like that. I think I need to go with that hairstyle.
so yeah.
Actually, to be honest, I was looking for that hairstyle on Hero Forge, and they didn't have it because I was gonna go with that hairstyle.
Oh boy. So yeah, so Phineas, that is what you see in the mirror, and then the kid. The kid is, well, actually, nobody has asked to see the reflection of the kid, but I'll give this to you, Phineas. As you look into the mirror, Phineas, the kid has no reflection. He is not in the mirror.
He's a vampire.
Oh, well, that's disturbing. Phineas will say this out loud. Well, that's a little disturbing. the kid don't have a reflection, and you guys, which makes sense what the kid ended up saying about you, Warren, but you're a clown,
Not a clone.
not a clone. Strange wordplay, but all right.
Warren's halfway through drawing a steak and then stops because this is ridiculous.
You just threw up a steak. And for comedic effect,
Like
you
a
were
T-bone or a ribeye or
comedically instead of writing the word out for steak as in vampire steak, is literally like steak that you eat.
Yep, just looks like a big T-bone.
Yeah, I didn't roll well, so yeah, it's a T-bone.
I'm. Is the rest of the people that we see here gonna think that we look like this?
I would assume so.
Huh.
Hey,
Yeah. At least we
Okay.
can disguise without needing to actually disguise.
it's true.
That is true. And you've been walking around with those clown shoes, and you haven't squeaked once.
Hey!
Wait. Hold up your pen in the mirror.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, I'll hold up my pen.
Is the pen in the reflection?
So the pen is in the reflection, but it does not look like a pen. It looks like a rubber chicken.
Oh, nice. Hell yeah.
Wait,
I love it.
what does it look like Phineas has on his back?
So I kind of tilt, like lean in a little bit.
Oh my goodness. So on the back it looks like that you have like a lasso like strapped to the back.
Like a
Huh.
whip, like the Lion Tamer whip? Is that what you
Yep.
mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
We are ADHD the party.
Oh shit, we gotta go beat up the
Hey,
dad.
hey,
Okay,
let's go. Yes, let's go get the dad.
Yes. So y'all decide that you're gonna go visit the dad. So
Yeah.
you are following this young boy who you have definitely helped make feel better. And on that lovely note, that is where we're gonna end our session this evening. We now have a goal of some sorts. Go for it.
I like picturing that the final scene is us walking off to go fight him, and like in our minds we're like doing this like heroic march all together, and you just see us in the mirror, and it's the clown, the lion tamer, the acrobat, and the fire eater, though. So it's like this ridiculous group.
Ragtag for the win.
Yes.
Like all good stories are. But that is going to be it for this episode of QUEERZ. When we come back in 2 weeks, we are going to see what is in store for our heroes. They managed to make the young magician boy feel better thanks to Warren's kind words and the power of his reality warping pen. But will they fare any better against the dad? And to see what is truly going to be, what is his true motive as this new trick that he is practicing for? You're going to have to come back in 2 weeks to figure that out. But for myself, my players, and of course, the lovable person in charge here of Halfling Wizard Productions, Will, whom without him we can't do any of this. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of QUEERZ. Remember to love yourself, to take care of one another, and until next time, remember, be your authentic self. We will see you later. Until then, ta-ta for now. Bye!
Thanks for joining us for this Halfling Wizard production. Make sure to come back again soon to see what happens next, right here where adventure comes to life.